Speaking of being dicked down.
That's not a transition you should do.
All hail the short king.
No, you should have said their dangerous relationship has developed. I'm like, hey, that's exactly what Justus said. It's like, short king. See, good on the first take. Speaking of first takes, this is ExAnime episode 137. I'm Matt. That's Justus for watching B-List.
Yes.
Is what it is on there?
Konosuba, An Explosion in This Wonderful World, Hell's Paradise, Dr. Stone, New World. Now, part 1 officially now. Skip to Loafer.
Spoiler.
And The Dangers in My Heart.
What did you say? Skip to Loafer?
Yeah.
No, it's skip and Loafer. The manga says and. We're going by and. It doesn't matter what my anime list says because it's wrong.
Both.
They changed their whole website to say we love Lena or whatever her name was. Liam, something like that.
Because they were hacked.
Yeah, speaking of people that got hacked, Konosuba was pretty good this week. Officially, so we watched what, the last 3 episodes?
Yes.
Which were
10, 11, 12.
Yep. And I love how now you're seeing more of the guys in the background. So obviously Kazuma and Aqua, and then obviously Darkness. We need help finding this like lost princess. She's got blonde hair. And Darkness, being Darkness, is walking by like, Darkness, are you okay being covered in those slugs? Damn. She's like, oh, it's no problem on there. Freaking BDSM having woman. I rest my case.
Yeah, so they finally get to the main town. We are at that point where there's a lot of overlapping stuff that...
Well, we've been in the main town since last time.
Yes, but this is really kind of kicking off her struggle before meeting them, which... She struggled for a day because she gave all of her money to Union. No, she struggled for quite a while.
No, I mean in the town. She was only struggled for like a day.
Between those 3 episodes, do you think that was a day?
Well, no. I'm saying is she fought those other demons. She had money. Then she fought that like high tier demon that now we don't know what happened to him.
He dead.
Got the money. Supposedly he's dead because then he talks about, well, I wasted this life, but maybe another one. And then you see her sister again at the temple doing the whole thing. So I'm guessing the demon just keeps getting reincarnated over and over and over. Something like that. And then she gave all her money to Union. And then now she's like, oh, I have no money. And then it's like, oh, looking for high tier only adventurers. And then you're going to meet Kazuma. I wish I would have gone back and rewatched the episode where they actually met to see if it matched up.
It's fairly close.
Or if you could see him in the background. So I highly doubt you saw her in the background because they would have been playing in this like 7 years ago.
The last scene was fairly close. Of course, there's some additional stuff as well, like explosion magic being useless and kind of all of that banter leading up. I think the funny thing with this is as Megumin is trying to find party members, you do see some of the jobs that the other 2 have had to do, which I'm fairly certain are some of the same jobs that they were already doing. It's exactly the same
jobs they did.
Where you learn, like, the...
Megumin was, like...
Filling the hole. It's like, it's because of Megumin the entire time. And it's like...
Megumin was just walking by on there because they did the whole, like, dropping the booze because Aqua can purify any liquid she touches back in the water. And then I don't remember the banana thing specifically, but the whole, like, working on the wall... outside for like basically minimum wage on there. I don't remember Aqua being a con artist though. You made me drop my 10,000 yen. If there's one missing, you're paying the difference. And the guy's like, I don't know what to tell you, woman. That is not 10,000 Aries. She's like, yes, it is. It's like, well, take the money and go. Get out of here on there.
Oh, she's totally a con like that. Come on now.
Oh,
I gotta do what you gotta do to make
I like how like the last thing that happened in the show, not saying I cried, I got emotional. I didn't cry. When she's over doing her like last explosion before you meet them, because they also announced season 3. I think like right when this ended, they put it, or right when it aired, they announced season 3, which is cool, but it's not till next year, right?
I was it's like would only April be next year. 7-year gap.
Hey.
Gotta love it.
But Megumin would have gone with Union. She would have run into the maid she's looking for. Because it's literally you see Union be like, oh, thanks for the ride, blah, blah, blah. Gets off, and I was like, what, Megumin missed her chance again.
Yeah. But if she would have went with, we would have never gotten season 1 or 2 or the movie.
No, we would have just had this original series instead that's only Megumin on there. I'm not biased in any way.
Right.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think, because we're doing a video here soon that you don't know about yet, but we're doing the video where we're ranking the shows and stuff. I would say the show is really good. Not the best, but good enough.
No.
It's like a
Do you think it's better than the other, like, main show?
I'm going to withdraw my answer because I hold a bias-y to it. I don't know if that's a bias-y. What do you think, Justice? Do you think it was
No.
You're wrong.
The main show has more and kind of better comedic
Season
elements.
1 was way funnier than this was because I think this tried to be a little more serious with comedy. Because Konosuba originally was funny with some seriousness. This one is some seriousness with comedy, I feel like. And season 2 of Konosuba really just kind of sucked, in my opinion. Really like the movie on there. So I wonder if they'll do, because I know they did the whole manga for this because I bought that in Japan, that like short manga. So I don't know if this continues like on just Megumime's story herself, or maybe she'll separate for a season and do another season Megumime, or so I highly doubt they're going to do one on every single character because like Megumime's like the one that everyone likes the most out of all the individual characters.
Well, yes, there's that, but also Darkness would get really old unless they do like here's
Her
4 episodes dedicated
just
to
like
the
some
3
OVAs or something like that.
An entire season, but 4 episodes focuses on Darkness, 4 on Aqua, 4 on Kazuma to get that.
I don't know if they would do a
episode.
Kazuma one, considering the whole
He's just a
original
human.
story is just Kazuma on there, unless they do something on like here's some one episode things. So like here's an episode of Megumime's sister, here's an episode on Wiz, here's an episode on Aqua, here's an episode on Darkness. Like 6 episodes, so a half season, individual episodes of each character, like maybe how they came to be that way, but don't make them 24 minutes, make them like 32 minutes, or something a little bit longer.
The show, especially near the end, did a great job of getting a lot of the characters that you're familiar with. I thought it was a little annoying where it's like, yeah, we're not really going to show any of their faces or do anything like that. Where it's like, we know.
Oh, it's still that like small kind of, it's them in the,
well, even like the
it's that
side
Leonardo
characters.
DiCaprio meme, like you're sitting, you could do it perfect right now, like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Wiz is a perfect example where she's helping give all these potions.
I recognize them titties from anywhere.
She's helping giving all these potions out, and of course, classic her. She can do some good potions, but there's a twist. So like, you can paralyze this demon by drinking this. You may also get paralyzed too.
Maybe she should read the instructions. Maybe she shouldn't have been dumb.
By the way, that entire scene was really good. Just like Union super embarrassed, and she's like, "If I could run away, I would. Just kill me now."
Well, for people that don't know, she had this scene where she was in Megumime's room the night before saying, "Oh, you mess up. Sometimes you're dumb, but I like you as a friend." And then Megumime shows up saying everything she said. I like the show.
Well, she said best friend.
Yeah, that's true. Best friend. And then, of course, Union's like, I knew I should have put you to bed. How long were you up? Well, when you unlocked the door, I was next to it. Heard the whole thing going on. So, I mean, to Union, it was probably utter hell. Speaking of hell, Justin, what was the second show we watched this season? Wasn't it Hell's Paradise?
Yes, it was Hell's Paradise.
Yo, people were smashing, and I gotta say, there was this scene where all those Tengus, or whatever you call them. Tenzins, whatever. We're sitting in this circle, and it's like, they have sex and all this stuff, and it's like, you had sex when you're a man and you seem to enjoy it. He's like, nah, I like being the woman better. I'm like, why is this a conversation going around the table right now? It's like, all these powerful creatures that can't really be killed, supposedly, and then it's like, sex talk, straight up.
Hell yeah. Good. What else are you gonna do? Why not? They're gods. Of course they bang. Have you ever seen Zeus's story?
There's a difference.
Into a snake.
There's a difference between consensual banging and rape, Justice. Those are 2 different things. He is known as a rapist.
Yes. I'm just saying, as a god, of course, that's kind of what they do. And in this case, they're like way more yes please versus some of the Zeus stories.
What are you?
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna work a little bit about it there. I don't know. The big thing that happened this week, not to go play by play. So I was kind of confused how they picked all the gods and everything. So you found out that there's, 7 of these original god creatures. Well, there was one, and then they made 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it is confirmed that, like, when they threw them in this pit, you have to throw them in alive, and then their energy for as they're dying feeds them, basically. So there is unlimited life, but they still kind of have to hunt people to an extent.
Yes.
But each one of these gods are made that way because they pulled 7 different religions together, which is why you kind of get, like, there's a Buddhist monster, there's a Christian monster, there's a, I don't know, like a Jewish monster or whatever. I don't know what all the religions were. They didn't go into detail about it. They just said there were 7 of them, Justice. What do you want from me?
This show did one thing that I thought was A, really annoying, and B, really good. With the annoying thing, A, Gabimaru in his fight with the clown looking one, I see here it's Zhu Jin. It's the
Don't worry about saying right. Just
yeah. He should have definitely died. Like, there are punches there where it's like, or at the very least at the end where it's like, all right, you're way more hurt than you should. Like,
do you know what my biggest beef about that fight was, though?
No nipples on the titties?
No, not that matters on there. Plush is still plush. But do you remember the My Hero Season 1 fight with All Might versus the Nam, where it's just like, oh, you can just go beyond, just keep hitting because they got to go faster than their regenerating abilities? And, dude, it felt like 1-to-1 with that on there. It's like, My Hero, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it up a little bit. And it's like, come on, dude. Just come up with something original. It's like, go beyond. Just keep punching them. They can't regenerate fast enough, then you're beating them up. And I'm like, man, that's exactly what All Might said in that fight.
I mean,
except you didn't do
a
cool finishing.
My Hero weeb.
That's it, dude. The fight happened almost. I bet you if I pulled up the scene in My Hero and I pulled up the scene in this, it would look very, very similar.
Yeah, but manga-wise, when did this start getting made?
I am 100% sure that this started. Considering I bought Volume 1 when it was at Barnes & Nobles and then bought like Volume 2 and 3 later on, considering My Hero was back in high school or college. Like what? I think that it started airing back in like 2015, and the manga had to have come out like a year or 2 before that. I almost guarantee you on there. We'll worry about that later on.
This started in 2018.
Yeah, My Hero
but
was.
It's all published by Shonen Jump, so they don't care.
Yeah.
But so there was that, and then it's gonna seem kind of lame, but they went into this really basically episode-long explanation of Tao, which is essentially like chakra and like stuff like that. But you get it within 3 perspectives at the exact same time. One, which is the group motherfucker, like, who knows how to explain it, kind of. One who's in the process of just brute forcing Tao and learning it, and then Gabimaru trying to understand in the middle of a fight. The brute forcing one are the brothers.
Well, it's only two fights, and you get all of it on there. Because the tree explained at the time before we watched is kind of some of what it was.
They were doing all 3 at the same time.
No, I mean Gabimaru's fight, he didn't really realize it till then. He had to fight with Tamiya guy.
Yeah.
The samurai, for people that don't know on there. Now, so I mean, you learn kind of what it was, which was just kind of like you said, like a chakra thing, which I was like, you guys could have done something a little bit better. The whole like, oh, I learned, and it's like, oh, we just magically learned it at this point. We pushed ourselves a tiny bit and we learned, and it's like,
yeah,
I feel like there could have been a better explanation. It's going to end in like 2 episodes. Because we got to what, episode 11, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's got so messed up. And there's only 13 episodes. So there's going to be another season of this. There has to be. I don't know if they announced it. Probably when the last episode comes out, they're like, oh, surprise.
Yeah,
there's no way they can end this in, 2 episodes? Because Yamada's still running around with that kid. And then he can use Tao apparently already because he says, oh, you see without seeing on there, and you can sense everything. So he's been able to use it. Yeah, he's been able to use it beforehand. And the other thing, speaking of blind people, is Aza, one of the 2 brothers. I didn't know he cut his own eye out on there. He's like, oh, how'd that eye happen? Cuts eye. Everybody else has a problem. Cut me more. And he's got like 5 cuts on his face. It's like, I guess he is just a bad, MF on there.
Yeah,
Also,
he's definitely the most unhinged.
What takes you out of these fights is like when he's fighting and it's like, we scarred this girl to show her punishment, and it just goes back to his wife. Just make it not look like a dick, man. It just takes you out of it when they're doing this big important thing. It's like, got this dick on her face.
Maybe for you, because you just think about dicks, but like I
make it sound like that's a bad thing, Justice.
It's not a bad thing, but if it's just always on your mind and it takes you out of like the experience of watching a show.
You're just gonna have 2 dicks on her face when he gets home. Ew.
Yeah. I just see a scar. I don't see the penis.
That's not what I say. I'm just like, oh, take me out of. Listen, I think Hell's Paradise is a good story. It's a good plot.
Mai's thing is fucked up, by the way.
What?
The little girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they basically explain that she's there to just, I don't want to use the R word, but essentially for the other two.
I already said it because you talked about the Zeus thing.
Oh,
All I'm saying is it's a good story. I like the characters. So good story, good character design, okay animation. And then they get to the fights, and I feel like I'm always let down in the fights. Like they build up, then they immediately stop it. Let's do a pause. Let's do some monologue story. Then they bring you up. They try and bring you up again immediately, and it's like, nah, man, just keep building it, and then do that big peak. Then give me some story afterwards on there. Like you gotta admit that the Gabimaru fight, I don't like when going through the notes of like what is gonna be fight of the year. And I'm like, man, just the fight was all right. I felt like it could have been better.
I mean, at no point do I ever expect like something like this to be on that level. Like it's still a good fight, but
the problem is like I watched this after Dr. Stone, and I just love like the storytelling and the pacing in Dr. Stone, and then you get this, and it's like it's a good story. They got good animation, they got good character design, and then you get to the fight, and you're just kind of let down. That's my opinion, which is the right opinion, but everyone's entitled to their own wrong opinion.
You don't know how opinions work.
Also, Sagiri got like 0 screen time these 3 episodes. She was just kind of there.
Yeah.
But Gabimaru did injure that one, Zenji or whatever.
Jin, the clown-looking one.
Yeah. Injured them
also
enough.
Get old.
Yeah, injured them enough that they almost died because they returned the flowers. So they can be killed now, but only through Tengu, whatever it is. Tao, whatever.
The power of Tao.
Sorry, we were talking about Tenmu before this, and it just completely threw me off.
'Tis the power of Tao.
I don't know. Hopefully it ends on a good note, but for now it's like we got to a peak, and I'm like, oh, that's just kind of I don't feel it. Like if all these characters were to die right now, I'd be like,
well, we had one of them die right at the very end. Rest in peace, Tree Bro.
Well, yeah, rest in peace, Groot. No one cares about Groot.
He was a nice guy.
Important characters, Justice. Well, if he was so important, what was his name? Take your fingers off that keyboard. What was his name?
Groot.
Hands up.
Groot.
Yeah, that's not his name. I can tell you that right now. I tell you for a fact that wasn't his name.
I don't think he ever, or he did.
He did. He introduced himself when they went to sit down in the bathhouse on there, and then a child calls him by his name on there. And then she also got older. She's not a kid anymore. She's like a teenager.
Yeah.
She like aged up on there using her powers. Some like Super Saiyan crap on there.
Oko.
That's the tree's name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you got the O right at least on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad he's not a doctor, though.
Lame.
Now, I'll let you start because I got to gripe. I wanted to talk. So we're talking about Dr. Stone now.
I know what you're going to gripe about.
Well, what am I going to gripe about?
Hey, give me 15 seconds to go really far away and be back and just make like 10-foot leap.
No, man. It's the goddamn cliffhanger. Dr. Stone. Here's a cliffhanger. Here's another cliffhanger. Oh, it's the end of the season? Cliffhanger. Hey, we'll be back in like 5 months on there. 4 months. But it's like, come on. Like,
It's good.
dude, it's the biggest cliffhanger. There's intruders on this base. We can resurrect the entire boat. And then they do the thing where everyone's like basically half naked. We're resurrected again. It's like, but they didn't actually resurrect them. They just thought about it on there.
What do you expect?
And they 100% that one crazy priest dude that's got the weird eyes, the black and purple eyes. You see the back of his neck, so you know he's been resurrected for sure. which we already kind of knew because of his hands and all that stuff.
It's
And then
it is.
my other gripe with the show was like, come on, a radio.
What? What's wrong with that?
The earpiece radio thing. Come on, dude. There is no way.
Stuff like that is real.
I feel like we should try this, see if we can get a real working radio thing on there. I mean, they tell you kind of how the whole thing works on there, so come on, dude.
Try it.
I can hear him, but I can't communicate back. The communicating back is understandable on there, but it's like, well, I can hear him on there. But the whole, like, there was a lot of science in these 3 episodes, and I really, really, really enjoyed it.
The silent bomb thing.
Yeah, which I never even really thought about. And then he explains like it just expands and cracks the concrete.
Yeah, it's plaster expanding. So yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't really think about that. That's interesting. So yeah, it's there is a lot going on and not a lot at the same time. It's kind of one of those like the overall stakes are moving forward, but in the episode, you kind of have 2 core things. Like,
well, there's like 3 plots going on. The Senku and his team, right? Because they split into the science team and then the spy team. But then you still get some of the key players of the enemy force kind of working behind the scene. But Senku's whole thing is like, we're going to make a drone. It's like, okay, so we're making a drone. We're having like a silent explosion on there. We made an RC car that kind of works, kind of doesn't work on there. They never really fully went.
Yeah, that whole RC car where it's like it's non-controllable, but it's getting to its target where that's a little fishy.
Like he's like, oh, the controls are wonky. It's like I never saw you build a controller on there. I mean, they probably have a better controller than that submarine. Hey-o.
5 people are dead.
Yeah, they're all rich assholes. Leave me alone. At me, bro. I mean, I like the episodes. There's not too much to talk about because I feel like you had to watch it and be there on there. But I know what's gonna happen is they're gonna get to the boat.
Kohaku smash pass.
Who?
Blonde.
Smash. Hard smash. Hard. Listen, she took this giant RC rat thing. It's like, what's that? Puts it away on there. It's like that should not be fitting in there in a 1 bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just it hurts to watch some of this because it's like, no, like,
so
it's just me making a lot of noises or just being frustrated at this show.
Yes, but also a sad point. I know very much you're like, he did a good job. Because the flashback of
his dad.
Senku's
Oh my god. Oh, dude, I teared up so hard in that. Senku's like, just finding this little bit of platinum could take like a decade. He would have to be out there all day. Then they're finding all this platinum mixed in with this gold dust. And then like the music's there. Senku's there going like, oh my god. Like Senku started to tear up. He didn't fully tear up, but you could tell he's about to. And then you find out his dad's not his dad.
I did. I think they mentioned it prior, which is why I always called him Byakuya.
Yeah. But it just killed me. You're watching. It's like his dad knew, eventually Senku's going to get there. He's like, we need to jumpstart humanity. He's going to need as many raw materials. Because I imagine later on you're going to find out some of the other kids were finding other raw materials when they actually open it. Because they only open a little bit of it. And the bad guys were taking stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And that dude knows.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of people suspicious of a lot of things. And then they're like, cliffhanger.
That was the one weird thing where it's like, yeah, look at this. And it's a piece of glass. And he's like, we have intruders. And it's like, well, how do you know? It's like, that thing was already in there. It's not like Kohaku.
No, the thing is, they never knew that capsule was under there. And that dude's been resurrected. So he must know something that, everybody else doesn't know. I mean, he would know what you and I would know.
It's just a tattoo.
And it's not a tattoo. I feel like it's definitely not, especially the whole eye thing. So I wonder
if that's just a stylistic choice. Could be.
Don't even try that. Everyone that's got those blue marks on there and the whole even the hand thing with the captain was a Nanami on there. I'm glad he's in Rock though, because I got tired of the whole.
It's fun.
The whole snapping thing.
It's jazz.
I'll say one more. I've talked a lot on that. I'll let you talk a little bit more, but I was very, very sad and emotional about the whole dad. And then his dad dies. He's like, oh, at least I died facing the water so I can still see the sky. And I was like, aw, that man probably just drowned while having a heart attack on there.
What are you going to do?
I mean,
it's a whole lot better than dying face down.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been looking at the stars, which could have been better on there.
I think.
But his dad put in so much. I mean, at the end of it, because they said they were hoping to have a fingerprint or fingertip worth, and then they get to the end of it, it's like a whole palm worth of just platinum on there. So then they can make an unlimited revival fluid.
It's gonna be interesting. I would assume, guess wise, for the next season, people are gonna be revived, but there's kind of an army of what would easily be pissed off people to get on your side underneath that boat. So
yeah, and probably the villagers are sick and tired of being subjugated to, because they even point out that one girl's dad, like, oh, he didn't want his daughter taken. Boom, turn her in this stone. So it could go 50-50, but when we were in Barnes and Nobles, like we weren't even like halfway through.
I am curious to see who the king is of the island.
Yeah.
Because we haven't met them. We saw the silhouette.
You know what I completely forgot they might bring back? Those two people that are in the cage that got turned to stone. Maybe he'll make him a deal of like, hey, you won't be in the cage, repay your debt, and fight all these people. Because remember, they're the best fighters.
If they're turned to stone on that ship, you 100% save that as a last resort. But also just don't turn them back like until you complete your goals.
I know they're hoping to get the stone, so I wonder if he'll free them to fight, get the stone, everyone will fight, turn them to stone. Because I mean, in the next season, we're probably gonna find out how they actually make the source of the power, or it'll probably just be a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I throw this cable and it does this, and I don't know how it works, so no one knows how it actually works.
Yeah, who knows? It's gonna be interesting.
But to reiterate,
I think it's October, right?
Yeah, it's October 6th. I think is the start date on there. To reiterate, I hate Dr. Stone because every 3 episodes is a cliffhanger. I'll beat someone up. I'm gonna go to the studio. I'm gonna beat someone up nicely though, not a lot, but just a little bit on there.
Rude.
Maybe I'll skip over there. Skip and Loafer Justice, or skip to Loafer.
I hate you.
Yeah, I cried. So what?
What was there to cry over?
It was just
absolutely nothing.
See, Justice doesn't have emotion like most normal human beings. Like his anatomy doesn't allow him to cry as much compared to me, which cries a lot because I get the emotions, I get the feeling. I understand what the director's going for.
Me, who cries a lot because emotionally unstable.
At me, bro. I know you're not responding to that on there. How is it not sad? They're over there. It's like, you're forcing your son to be an actor. Time to let him go. Kind of lets him go. She's crying in the car. Then obviously Sosuke turns around and he was gonna ask her out. And Justice was in Discord when I was there. I was like, just ask. What the?
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were.
No one.
Because you asked me what I was watching, and I was like, I said, skip to Loafer.
Maybe
skip
I wasn't
Loafer.
paying enough attention.
We had a conversation.
Their dynamic
is the best dynamic ever. It's a perfect love story.
If there is a season 2, they're definitely gonna get together.
There's gotta be a season 2 because it's the end of the semester, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's no confirmation yet.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna buy it and read ahead, man. I'm gonna have to read ahead.
Ririka, the model, she gets a little bit of her own comeuppance, and
that's a big word for you, buddy.
Oh wow, thanks. I learned it next to jingoism. It's a deep cut. But
continue what you were saying. Jingo piece of crap.
Jesus. So she's been manipulating him basically through a quarter of the season. Hey, because you drug me to this, like it ruined the first part of my career. How dare you try to have anything fun?
Well, did you kind of double back and make it kind of? Well, it was kind of your fault for going because he told you not to go.
Yeah,
he never drugged her.
Doesn't admit it.
Yeah, because he never drug her there, but she wanted to go and he told her not to go. So it's her own fault. Yes. She put a quarter in her ass because she played herself.
Yeah. So he finally was like, hey, I want to just have fun and be me. I don't care.
Well, he wants to do stuff for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last 3 episodes, or I'd say the last 2 episodes, they do this whole dynamic of wrapping up kind of all the stories in a nice kind of package just in case there's no season 2. Because they could leave it where it's at. It's still like, he loved her, he just never said it, which they should do another season so we can see him say that. That's one's opinion on there.
Mm-hmm.
But even Makoto, she finally comes out of her shell fully and introduces her friend to Yuzuki, and they both kind of bond at the end on there. And then Mika finally kind of gives up on Sosuke, which was kind of nice to see because the whole season is just like, here's this random woman wanting Sosuke.
Random woman. She's a friend group.
She's a random woman.
Really? She absolutely bonded with the ant, and
If she breathes, she's a thought.
then all of them are thoughts.
No, it's different because they breathe different on there.
But they still breathe. So the friend dynamic is always something that I've enjoyed in a lot of slice of life shows. This one does a good job of a lot of the characters kind of have a bit more of their own personalities. Like in our friend group in high school, there were definitely those kids that were way more energetic, i.e. Jordan, versus ones that were more chill, and me, essentially, where it's like, yeah, he's going to go do some wild shit, and I'm going to be right over here going, good luck, bud.
There's some behind the scenes stuff that I know Justin's way more wild than anybody else in the group.
Well, that was in adulthood, but that was just kind of me figuring things out.
He's at the whorehouse every Tuesday, folks.
There's one in Iowa. So some of that, and even just taking into consideration the friend's feelings, like you said,
Well, the thing is, even
Makoto introducing her friends from middle school.
Well, Makoto opened up to Yuzuki. Yuzuki opened up back. Mika gave up Sosuke. Sosuke finally is free and is doing stuff for himself because he was literally about to ask out this Mitsumi.
Well, you don't know that he was specifically going to ask her out. Maybe
just because I'm holding
something.
Just because I'm holding a fork and a knife, I got a bib on, there's a steak in front of me, doesn't mean I'm going to eat the steak. That boy was going to eat that steak. Dad. Shut up.
Going to eat it raw?
But even he, like... Oh, my God.
Num, num, num.
I don't know how to respond to what you just said on there, dude. It just, like, threw me off. I had a whole train of thought, and he threw off my groove. But even he got, like, with Narumi, he finally realizes, like, I wanted to say hi to him, but I ended up just getting drugged to this other thing on there, and it's... I feel to do another season of them.
Sosuke? Where, he also came to the realization where it's like, well, I didn't want to go talk to him. Like, that was part of the... He's using excuses when he shouldn't have. He should have went up to his friend. So, Sosuke is learning and being a better person. Little bro is an absolute fucking trooper. You like my backpack?
You mean Kento?
Yeah. Well, his little brother.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant, like, Kento was the one that was initially asserting the conversation. And like, oh, we got this lost little kid, because you finally see Sosuke's little brother. And he comes to the school, obviously. She's like, oh, I recognize the little penguin thing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not to go play by play, but I think it was a really good ending to a show that actually did it. Like, the opening theme got you prepped for the show. You watch people develop, like we talked about, like Akabe Sailor Uniform. You got to see everyone develop in the story.
Mom's dynamic is still fucked, but
I think, what do you mean? You're just confused about her dynamic, or?
No, well, but her dynamic with her kids, because I know Ririka has the impression of what she thinks happened, but oh, you forced him to act.
Listen,
but
she's already lied twice in the story. You're gonna believe her now?
Sosuke is very much, even in some of the flashbacks, done it specifically because it made his mom happy. So there's that weird, like, misunderstanding. Sosuke's just done a shit job of, like, going, no, this is this.
Listen, the backstory about his mother's for high intelligence people like myself, you just wouldn't understand. If you can't see that Sosuke was about to ask out Mitsumi and dick her down in that hallway, then you are wrong, my friend. He was ready to take her in that classroom and show her his acting.
Speaking of being dicked down.
That's not a transition you should do.
All hail the short king.
No, you should have said their dangerous relationship has developed. I'm like, hey, that's exactly what Justus said. It's like, short king. Dude, oh my
God. The
God.
dangers in my heart.
We finished that as well.
Yes.
Sorry, we should say we finished this.
It is getting a season 2, which was like
immediately confirmed.
Oh, I didn't think that was going to be the case.
Which is weird.
I'm glad.
I mean, I am, but it's like they kind of completed this kind of love story.
Not fully. If you can't see that, then clearly they need to
Listen, when the Blu-ray comes out, there's going to be a deleted scene where he's on that bed and she actually got redressed, then pushed him away. You don't know about these deleted scenes.
They're middle schoolers.
Yeah, and he's a kid, short king. What do you want?
And that's the only thing with this show where it's like, man, middle school.
Listen, it's Japanese middle school. What do you want? It's more romantic than Des Moines middle school. Like, yo, some kid threw a kid through a glass
That man's
pane.
worried that he had tissues from jacking off in his fucking trash can.
Did she clean it? Okay, we're good.
Also, why you just leaving that shit in the trash can? Your mom took that out, sir.
I mean, it's in your room. They could just be regular tissues on there. You know?
Mm-hmm. That's some wild shit.
You're trying to gaslight my boy into being wrong.
His sister's cooler.
Well, I mean, his sister's basically like, I gotta leave to go to a friend's house, and then she's setting up for her brother to get some puss, and she's like, you know, thanks for being my brother's friend. I valued him. I'm gonna leave. Here's a condom. She didn't give him the condom, but we know she did in the deleted scenes. Threw a condom over to her. Then they went up to his bedroom, and
you're just like,
I'm trying to get my boy laid over here. He's gonna climb that tree. A quote that Justus said himself.
No, I didn't say tree. I said you climb that Amazon woman. He's short king.
You know that scene in Oran High School Host Club when Tamaki's climbing up the other guy? For all the people that don't know, there's that tall guy in Oran, I think, whatever his name is, and Tamaki, the short guy, climbs up him. That's what this boy's gonna do. He's gonna climb up her. I mean, listen, they were even in the dressing room. He's like, I go shopping with my sister. Which one do you like better? It's like, dude, how do you not get that hint? Even in middle school would get that hint on there.
I would.
And then she like tries it on, and he's like, don't get a boner at this point. I'm like,
no, that's fair. He's.
I love how
he's right.
I like how self-conscious he's like, don't get a boner, don't get a boner. It's like, dude, what are you doing, man? Have some more strength. And then she pulls him into the room to save him. It's like, that a boy. Should have dicked her down there.
The sister was in the room next to it.
So it's not like she knows what her brother's voice sounds like when he's digging down a woman. That would be weird. But then again, she'd be supportive. You've seen Rush Hour 3 when he's leaning on the door. He's like, don't hide that, Dragon Lee. It's exactly what would happen here.
Wild. No. But God. So in these 3 episodes, we do get way more like what's the best way to describe this? The
sexual.
Not quite
romantic.
More
flirty.
More flirting and kind of being bold.
I mean, they went on like a Christmas date, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And in classic, like
each cow is very stupid, not realizing that that's
well, in classic like middle school fashion. It's like, let's go do this, but it's not a date. But let's spend the day together alone, just you and I.
They held hands.
They held hands,
and they held hands for a while. And your boy was sad when
he held hands. He was the assertive one holding hands, right?
No.
On the train.
Well, so she initially grabbed his hand. She let go, and then he grabbed back.
Well, I mean, that's him being more sort of, she could have accidentally grabbed his hand. That's listen, I'm trying to help my boy out here. But listen, I'm not saying I cried. Got a little emotional when finally they have that scene where they hug.
I thought he was gonna die at one point. That would have been so.
Well, how would it?
Come on, Willie fell like off the cliff and whatever.
You're a sad little man, aren't you?
I'm not little.
Not everyone can.
Ladies.
He's got a whole 5 inches. No, what I'm saying is when they were, Jesus Christ, I lost my train of thought there. When they were, why can't I remember exactly what I was going to say? Jesus Christ.
In Akita?
What?
At Grandma's house in the snow.
No, not that. I mean, to be fair, there was that scene when they're on the phone and she's like in her pajamas and dude's like, I can't rub one out here. It's like, dude, settle down. No, I remember what I was thinking of when they're when he goes back to school again after the whole awkward encounter on the bed, blah blah blah, and he brings his books back, his like shield, and then it's kind of like how Skip and Loafer was, which is what I wanted to bring up, of basically faking being someone else to protect yourself, which I think is kind of a middle schooler thing. I don't know, it's been years. And finally she like,
wait, you don't do that into adulthood?
Shut up. And then she like, you know, obviously tries to pick up the book. She gives him the hug, and then he hugs back. I'm like, oh, so adorable over there. Just cry it out, boy. Cry it out. Hug that.
I think one of the things that this show does really well, and you, of course, immediately get the sense that it's about to be near the end of the episode, is the kind of the title name of the episode popping up, and the way it gets interspliced, especially like on the last episode where I think it's titled like I Just Want to Be Me.
Yeah.
It was really good. There are few kind of shticks that a couple of shows have done that work really well for it. Dangers in My Heart, this is one of them where it's not even like just doing a card, it's slowly intersplicing it into the scene.
I mean, that's
to have the full thing. And
I think that's how a lot of the better shows do it.
And Oshinoko with their slow transition into the actual ending by starting the song kind of early into the scene. Between those two, they've done really well to like finish the episodes out.
It's probably, I'd say Dangers in My Heart is probably one of the top rom-coms so far this year. We're only 2 seasons of stuff in to the year, and I think it's probably going to be
season 2 is also supposed to be this year.
Yeah, which is weird.
So,
there's a lot of stuff that it's cool that we're getting. You get season 1, we're taking like a 1 season break, and we're getting another season literally in the same year on there.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to see. The only other thing I wanted to mention in Dangers in My Heart.
Oh, sorry, January 2024.
Yeah. Within, I think, the last 2 episodes, you saw the relationship, not that they're actually dating.
Mature.
Yeah. Well, you saw the relationship mature very quickly, as it probably would, because she finally gets comfortable, I think. The first episode we watched this week, she got extremely comfortable. Then eventually they get to the shrine. She's up behind him. They're getting very handsy once they did finally hold hands for once. And
we didn't talk about the sister FaceTiming.
No, we did.
Well, you specifically mentioned the pajama thing and him talking about rubbing it.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to go play by play.
Well, yeah, kind of hey, I thought that was kind of funny. That's very much a sibling thing where you think they're not paying attention, and then they're like, "Yo, what's up?" It was pretty good scene-wise. And then he does like, "Oh, what'd you tell her?" I was like, I said you were a friend for now, and like establishing some of those where she's like, well, what do you mean for now? And get super excited. So
that's all we had for this week, though. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, blah, 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 all that regular stuff on there. Next week is the C list, but I think we're finishing everything up pretty much next week.
For the most part, yes. And I will not be silenced. 3-hour podcast.
I mean, if you want to talk about Vinland Saga and the ending of all that at the very end for the last 2.5 hours, you're more than welcome to.
We will not be able to cram everything into an hour.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying if you want to talk another half hour about Vinland Saga, that's more power to you on there.
Okay, in Vinland Saga. Gets up, walks away.
Frame 1, scene 1. He arrives. Frame 2, scene 2. He arrived again. Scene 3. Came on her face. That's all I got.